Hello, second graders. It's Mrs. Hotman, and I have another story for you to read this week. It's called Anansi and Turtle Go to Dinner. Now, this is one of my favorite folk tales again. If you enjoy this story, there are a bunch of Anansi stories on Epic. There's a bunch if you just Google search them, and there's also a lot of stories from the local library about Anansi. So, what you need to know about Anansi is he is a spider, and I don't normally like spiders, but I find Anansi very entertaining because he's kind of ornery and he has to learn things the hard way a lot of the time, but he's fun to read about, and I hope that you learn a valuable lesson in this story as we read with it. Now, something very important as we read, I have a really, really important goal for you to keep in mind as you listen to this story. So, let's get to that goal. So, the goal that we need to keep in mind as we read Anansi and Turtle Go to Dinner is I can describe how characters in a story respond to major events and challenges. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. We know characters are who the story is about. In this story, we're looking specifically at Anansi the spider and Turtle. And we want to look at the events and challenges that they come across in the story. There's going to be some problems in the story. And once again, if we don't have problems or a conflict, that wouldn't be a very interesting story. But I want you to pay close attention to how they respond to those challenges. Do they give up? Are they cruel? Are they kind? Do they handle it well? Do they react poorly? So, respond is another word for react, or how the character makes a choice based off of the event or challenge they come across in the story. So, Anansi and Turtle Go to Dinner by Bobby Norfolk, Sherry Norfolk, illustrated by Bard Hoffmeyer. In this tale from Africa, Anansi learns the value of being a good host and the truth of the old saying, "What goes around comes around." One evening, Anansi was sitting down to dinner when Turtle came to his door. Anansi knew the law of the jungle. If you have company and you have food, you must share the food with your company. "Come in, Turtle. You're just in time for dinner," Anansi sighed. Turtle sat down. "Thanks, Anansi. How are you?" Turtle reached for a bowl of yams. "I'm fine," answered Anansi. "But Turtle, your hands are very dirty. You know I can't sit down to dinner with dirty hands. Please go wash them before you eat." Turtle looked sadly at his hands. They had gotten very dirty on the long walk to Anansi's house. "Oh, you're right, Anansi. I'm sorry. I'll be right back." Turtle slowly crawled off to wash his hands. So I just noticed that Turtle responded to Anansi telling him that his hands were dirty by sadly looking at his hands, which tells me that hurt his feelings, and I certainly don't blame him for that. So he responded with sadness, and then he turned around and decided that he would obey Anansi, and he went to wash his hands. I felt bad for the guy. I mean, being a turtle and having to crawl on your hands and feet, I don't know how you avoid this. As soon as Turtle was out of sight, Anansi ate as fast as he could. He ate peanut soup, rice and beans and meat. Slurp, slurp, gobble gobble, munch, crunch, burp. When Turtle got back, the bowls and plates were nearly empty. "Anansi, you've been eating all of the food," Turtle said unhappily. "Well, Turtle, you are very slow. I had to eat it before it got cold, but there's plenty left. Help yourself," said Anansi. "Thanks, Anansi. I'm really hungry." So, once again, Anansi did something that to me would hurt Turtle, and I could tell that Turtle is definitely a little upset or hurt by this because Anansi ate all of his food. Turtle knows that that's rude, but he still was very kind and even accepted Anansi's excuse that he had to eat all the food before it got cold. So I feel that Turtle responded very politely, even though he really shouldn't have. He's being really nice to Anansi after Anansi did something that wasn't very nice. Turtle reached for the bowl of rice. Wait, cried Anansi. Your hands are still dirty, Turtle. Turtle looked at his hands. Yes, they were dirty again, because he had crawled back to the table across Anansi's dirty, unswept floors. Oh, sorry, Anansi. I'll be right back. Turtle crept back to wash again. Then he searched through his shell and found some nice, soft slippers to keep his hands and feet clean. Then he started back as fast as he could go. Now, I'm impressed with how the turtle responded here. He went to wash his hands again, but he got smart and put on some slippers to keep his hands clean so that he would have clean hands when he saw Anansi. I think that's a pretty smart response of Turtle. But as soon as he was gone, Anansi had stuffed the rest of the food into his mouth. Slurp, slurp, gobble, gobble, munch, crunch, burp. When Turtle saw the empty table, he cried, Anansi, you have eaten everything. Turtle, I cannot wait any longer. The food was getting very cold. Maybe next time you come to dinner, you'll wash your hands and get to the table on time. Turtle nodded slowly and left with an empty tummy. As he walked, his hungry tummy growled, and his hungry mind began to work. So again, Anansi is super rude to his friend Turtle. He literally ate all of the food. Now, Turtle mentions that this upsets him, but again, I felt that Turtle was pretty nice about it, considering how rude that was that Anansi ate all the food. And I could tell because it says that he nodded slowly and left with an empty tummy. I'm thinking that Turtle is really sad, and he's responding by going home hungry and kind of sad that his friend let him down. However, it also says that his hungry tummy growled and his hungry mind began to work. So I wonder if Turtle is coming up with a plan to either get back at Anansi or teach Anansi a lesson about being a better host. Anansi tricked me. He got me to wash my hands twice while he gobbled up all the food. It's time to teach Anansi a very important lesson. Turtle reached home, ate his dinner, and began to plan. The next day, Anansi found an invitation in his mailbox to go to Turtle's house for dinner. All right, he cheered. Turtle is a great cook. Now, I really want you to pay attention at this part of the story and to how Anansi reacts to Turtle inviting him to dinner. Now, I thought Turtle was pretty nice considering how Anansi treated him. And as excited as Anansi is, he does cheer. He says, all right, Turtle's a great cook. I wonder what he's up to. So pay attention to how Anansi reacts to Turtle's dinner. Anansi put on his best jacket and went to the edge of the pond. He saw Turtle down at the bottom of the pond, setting the table. I'm here, Turtle. I'm here for dinner, he called. Come on down, Anansi. Your dinner is almost ready. Anansi jumped into the water. Splash! But he didn't sink to the bottom. He just floated on top of the water. Anansi kicked all 8 legs and bounced as hard as he could, but he could not make himself sink. Hurry, Anansi. Dinner is getting cold, grinned Turtle as he watched Anansi splashing above him. Anansi climbed out and tried again and again and again. Splish, splash, splish, splash, splash! He could not sink to the bottom. How do you think Anansi is reacting right now? He's unable to even get to the table at Turtle's house. And I'm wondering what his response will be because he seems to be very frustrated right now. But coming up, that picture's showing me that he has a plan or an idea. Pay attention to how he responds. Anansi thought, aha! I know what to do. I have big pockets in this jacket. I'll put heavy rocks in the pockets and I'll drop right down to Turtle's house. Anansi gathered big rocks and filled his pockets. Then, ker splash! He jumped into the pond. Glub, glub, glub. He went down, down, down to the bottom of the pond where Turtle had set out a feast. This sure does look good, said Anansi as he reached for a bowl of food. Wait, Anansi, Turtle cried. You know you can't sit down to dinner with your jacket on. Please take off your jacket. But Turtle, if I take off my jacket, you must take it off if you want to eat, said Turtle. What do you notice about Anansi's reaction when Turtle asks him to take off his jacket? How does he respond to Turtle's request? Is he as kind as Turtle was? Anansi slowly took off his jacket and hung it on the back of his chair. He popped right back up to the top of the water. Anansi floated and watched as Turtle ate every bite of the feast. He had plenty of time to think while he watched. Finally, he climbed out of the water and started back home. Turtle tricked me out of a meal just like I tricked him. I guess my mama was right. What goes around comes around, and that's the end of that. So what I want you to do is think about how Anansi responded to the challenges that he had when Turtle had him over for dinner. Did he learn a lesson? How did he respond? Please send me a video back with your thinking, because I want to know what you thought of the book and what you noticed about how Anansi responded. Thanks.